ugly. It is the haircut for sure
Okay.
because, long story, somebody that I dealt with had that same haircut.
Okay.
Serious, I was upset. I was upset, y'all. So sometimes when I see a guy with that haircut, I'm like, oh, it reminds me of that person, and whatever the case is.
You gotta let that go.
Let what go?
The holding on to other, because at the end of the day, somebody's gonna always kind of look like somebody. Like you just said,
Kendall kind of knew exactly what it was,
Like
and
the
for him to
severity
do
of
that, and it just made me kind of like be upset.
Yeah, she wanna make me her wife, but I don't wanna be her wife, okay? Slide by in the motherfucking range, I do the dash in the vintage, yeah.
YouTube, what is good with y'all? I'm back again with another Pop the Balloon reaction video. Today I'm reacting to the season 3 reunion. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this video. Let me know what else I should be reacting to. 98% of y'all is not subscribed, so if you fuck with the video, then tap in and subscribe. Make sure you like the video and check out the playlist to see my other Pop the Balloon reaction videos. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
So our next clip actually does involve Kamina, aka Haitian doll.
Hi, my name is Kamina. I'm 27, and I popped my balloon. You're not ugly. It is the haircut for sure
Okay.
because, long story, somebody that I dealt with had that same haircut. It's just
Okay.
PTSD, low key.
Okay, wait. One of them haircuts. Yeah.
But I healed from that moment. I'm able to say right then and there, this is what gives me trauma. And I do not want to wake up to a man every day to see that haircut. And it's just going to bring back memories of what happened to me. So
Her family.
So Kamina.
So serious. I was upset, y'all.
So Kamina, yeah, as we just saw on Pop the Balloon, you were like, oh, PTSD, low key, and it was like kind of like a. It didn't seem as serious, but then when we spoke about it on BM Talks to them, it was like a different tone that you had towards the situation. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, and I want to apologize for even coming on the podcast like that, Arlette. It was just, it's different when you're saying it to somebody on the show, like, okay, PTSD, whatever the case is, because it is true. The story is true. And people might think it's crazy, because there's times when I see a guy with that haircut, I'm like, oh, it reminds me of that person, and whatever the case is. So, the comment was very honest and true, but it's just kind of like it's different when you're watching it on the podcast and you're seeing people actually laugh about it. And you're not there to kind of defend or talk about it. It's just being talked and you're not there. And it's just being kind of like, from what I take it as being made of a joke. So that's where it kind of came from. I'm like, okay, so I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, it's being talked about, well, I'm not there. And it just seems like it's being more of a joke, but it's more different if I'm there to say it myself on the show. I don't know, I can't really explain what I'm trying to really say, but it was just a little bit hurtful because I did talk to Kendall outside of the show and I did tell him, I told him about the haircut thing because he asked, why'd you pop on me? And I'm like, I wasn't lying. I did have somebody that I messed with always had that same hairstyle, haircut every time I see it. It reminds me of him and it does bring back some type of PTSD for me because the whole relationship was just very terrible. So yeah, and the fact that, I think that's what also made me mad. The fact that I told him that and I saw him on the show just laughing about that too, it just kind of made me just kind of mad at him and just, I shouldn't have been mad about everybody else because like you said, everybody didn't know it was kind of like, a joke, but Kendall kind of knew exactly what it was and for him to do that, and it just made me kind of like be upset. So that's what that was about.
Quick question, because I noticed with yours, right? You said a lot of comparisons with your family. What's that about? Like, you compared
I don't know, like, who cares if he laughs at you? Like, are you a kid? Like, if you're really healed from the trauma, then why would it matter if somebody has the haircut? I get it's reminding you, but that means that you haven't really healed from it. Or if somebody's making fun of you, like, let it go. Like, you don't have to get so mad over
every
it.
male to your family.
Not my family. First of all,
Or
my
friends or-
cousin's baby daddy. The only one that I compared with my family was him. And I would even say the guy's really family. He's my mom's best friend. His name is Jonas, and he looks just like him. And, us Haitian has that, exotic look. And I'm going to just bring that out. Shout out to my Zoe. Haitians are very beautiful. I mean, look at me, look at her, and look at him. Even though you're not Haitian, you look at very beautiful people. I love my people. But, it's just kind of like when you grow up with certain people that, I don't know, it's just he looks a lot like Jonas. But I don't know, maybe I know a lot of people. A lot of people know who I'm probably around a lot of people, so yeah, a lot of people do look like other people. Not trying to, make it seem like, oh, you look like this person. It's just what it is for me.
Can I say something to you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I love you. As my Haitian sister.
Yeah, go ahead.
You gotta let that go.
Let what go?
But holding on to other, because at the end of the day, somebody's gonna always kind of look like somebody. Like you just said, you know, a lot of people. So you're gonna be able to find something in everybody that reminds you of somebody. But don't let that hold you from your body.
I mean,
you
I'm
know,
looking
your
at
person.
a lot of people right now. They don't remind me of a lot of people.
I,
It's just,
I
it's
think,
just.
I think I get what Kamina
I've
is
been
saying
told
because we
we
had a
know.
conversation off screen.
She's
Like,
hilarious.
my brothers are handsome. Like, I have a handsome family, but I would never date a guy that looked like my brother because you remind me of my brother. Like, I'm gonna think about my brother when I see you. So the fact that they remind her of somebody that familiar to her, I think that's where she's coming from. And I wouldn't dabble in that either. Like, even if I did think they were attractive, because it's like, you're gonna remind me of my brother. Like, oh, you look like my brother. Get away from me. Like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to kiss you. I don't want to cuddle you. Like, that's just the energy that I have because you resemble somebody that's on that level with me. And I think that's what it is. Not saying that she's comparing everybody to people she likes or just trying to find a reason to not like somebody. Like, if it's not there, it's just not there.
Yeah.
So I get you, sister.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's like a lot of people in this room right now, and I don't really think anybody besides you two look like somebody.
I mean,
You know, I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying, it's just what it is. Just being honest.
Got it. And then now the word group chat was thrown around so many times. So let's take a look at this short clip.
Yeah, so going to the podcast you guys did with the boys, I was pretty shocked because we've been in this group chat, I believe, for 2 weeks, maybe, I don't know, and we were thinking everything's cool, everything's okay, and to just see the stuff they said about us that they knew completely was not true about us. They know us from a different level of just the show that we filmed.
You perceive people in a certain way, especially with how they present themselves on camera and getting to know the guys behind the scene. You know, thought I built really good friendships with them, but you know, seeing the podcast and how it played out, it was giving very much black women aren't protected, and I didn't necessarily agree with that. I'm sure, you know, they lead overall good lives. I just didn't like the way that they, like Carrington said, doubled down on how we were, you know, these terrible black women, and getting to know them and hearing the positive things that they were saying about us, and then to go out on the internet and completely flip the script. It was like absolutely mind blowing. It was like blindly raging to see that they did us like that.
Okay, so this group chat, was it everyone from the episode in one group chat together? Is that what this was? Or?
Let me just say,
Mostly everyone.
Go ahead, Tiffany.
let me just say, as soon as I left that building, I said, "Don't add me to no dang group chats."
Oh,
I've been through this before. I was on a previous episode, so I know how messy it can get. So I said, "Don't add me to the group chat. I don't want to be no part."
the group chat started.
Mike.
The group chat started as guys. All right, it was.
You started as the
started
guys?
I started it as guys.
Okay.
When me, Tiffany, Maul, and his date, we matched first on the show. We left. I don't know who added everybody, but when we left, everybody was in the group chat.
Besides me.
And then it became a communion. It became a family reunion. And then once the community of people who saw the show came into it, we fell apart. Like, people just broke us apart. That's just what happened.
I mean, it sounded like y'all said things though. So what is it?
Not yours,
Because
not
how
yours,
did
not
community
yours.
change?
Okay, let's hear from, I think,
It wasn't
Jason.
yours. It wasn't
Go
yours.
ahead, Jason.
So the way first of all, the group chat got started, where all of us got into it, was because the night that we had the show, we decided to all go out.
Okay.
And so to find where everybody was going to go, we created the group chat, right? So that's how that happened. Kind of to what TJ was saying, there was some skerfuffles and things that started to happen as the show got released, as there was difference of opinions, there was responses of like the comments being sent, all that kind of stuff. I guess from my perspective, like some of the ladies were saying on there, I was confused on the part of like not protecting black women, or what that meant. From our episode, none of us said anything derogatory, rude, crass, or anything like that to any of the women, especially them as black women. We told our experience on the show. We responded to some of the things that were said about us, but none of us were coming at black women, coming at them at all, or anything like that. And so that was super confusing to us as guys. Even people in the comments are like, what are they talking about? There's nobody coming for them as, black women or whatever. And then too, even if that was the case, it was weird to me because it was like, well, on the show, if you're saying coming at black women, what do you call it when you're telling a black man that his teeth are horrible in front of millions of people. What is that? Is that protecting black men? And so all of that was like super confusing to me.
And like it's just, yeah, I just feel like when you know you did something wrong and then you get called out for it, some people's response is to take accountability, and some people's response is to go back and try to complain and say that they're not protecting black women or whatever. And I just feel like, especially the girl from Detroit and with the curly hair, and then the Haitian girl, they both, I feel like they don't really be taking accountability like that.
So just to touch on what I said, the protect black women thing was not that you guys were attacking us, is that you knew who we were as women behind the scenes, and you seen what the internet said about us, and you guys had the opportunity, the platform, the time, the space to be like, hey, you guys should stop talking about these women in that way. We've met them on this level and they're this way, and they're like, you had the platform to clear that up, and you didn't do anything.
Are you saying like us comment to people, like to comment on the comments, or what are you specifically saying we should have done?
You had like I said, you had the opportunity to speak up for us in a positive light. Like, let's not act like we're not on these platforms and we have a certain level of power. Like, there were episodes where, the women said something about, whatever, and then you had the guys clap back in a negative way or be sassy or whatever. And, there wasn't really much scrutiny toward, I'm not going to say there wasn't any scrutiny toward the women, because I'm sure anybody and everybody has something to say. But we got it the worst, I think, because we were being honest. We were being asked to be specific about these things. And because you guys, portrayed yourselves, in a way where it's like, okay, you were nice, laid back. You were kind of like, in a way, the internet seen it as you guys were taking the jabs and you guys were just these upstanding men and we were just these terrible women. That's literally how they were portraying us in the comments. So because you guys knew that, we talked about that every single day in the chat after reading those comments, and you knew these things, you could have went on that platform and be like, hey, we got to know these women. They're nothing like what the comments are saying. And that's what I mean by protect. You didn't have to not attack us. You could have used that platform, that space to give a positive light to what we were going through.
I feel
and
like
you did not do that.
I feel like everybody is just now meeting each other. Honestly, I feel what you're saying, but I feel like it's nobody's job to take up for you. I matched with TJ, and so many people call me Go Diggers because he's a children's book author and I'm a dancer. I didn't ask him to cape up for me.
Yeah, I don't think,
everybody, we're all grown here. We're big women, we're big men.
Yeah,
stand up for yourself.
I don't think that's still gonna think what they want.
I think that goes to the men on the show too. If they were holding themselves in a respectful way on the show, like I feel like that was good enough to not bounce back.
Because just like we could have gone on that show and clapped
back
ass and been an asshole,
crashed out,
right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's fair for you to expect us to do something, because we're all busy men. We all have things that we're doing, day in, day out. I mean,
what did that have to do with the podcast? We're not asking you to defend us every day online or anything like that. And I'm not even asking you to go online and just be like, just defend us. But the responses that I got from the podcast, like furthering that, it just further proved that it's like, oh, okay, yeah, these were these good men and they just happened to get trapped with these bad women. Not saying y'all had any responsibility to do that, but you didn't like it.
Well, I totally agree with what the stripper said. Like, why do we have to stand up for you? You're an adult. And then two, why do you care so much about the comments? Nobody asked you to read the comments. They were respectful towards you. And then like now all of a sudden they gotta be your fucking daddy, yo brother, and stick like, no, that's not their responsibility. Like he said, they're busy and it's not their job to defend you. Like, it's just like, bro, like live your life, girl.
It didn't give the men that I met in that chat. I thought we were like genuinely like, I don't know. It gave genuine at first. I felt like you guys were like just good in that way. But when you guys went on a podcast, it didn't give what the guys.
So what did you want us to do?
Danny wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Well, I had to similar experience with the first lady Sandra when they kept calling her a gold digger. I didn't look at her like that, but it's almost impossible to save.
Yeah, you can't control the narrative.
Yeah, it's like a unflood. It's like when it dropped, and a guy dodges gold digger, and you know what I'm saying. I was like, I reached out to her. I was like, I'm sorry that they thought that. Like you just. Every time I said something, she's not a gold digger. Never thought that. It's just like it goes in. It's like throwing a pebble into the ocean.
Why?
You know what I'm
Care?
saying? Like it's just almost impossible. You know what I'm saying? To defend
Why care
anybody.
what other people think? If you knew and we knew that you were great people, that's all it should have been. It doesn't matter what other people think. You can't change their opinions.
And I was just gonna say that it's your job to be secure and confident within yourself. You know, and this is not to like, you know, but I'm not saying that you're not. But at the end of the day, like it's our job to be secure in ourselves that no matter what anybody says, we know who we are. So I could care less what anybody has to say because I know who I am. So I wouldn't need you to defend me. I wouldn't need to defend myself to all the comments out there.
Right.
I know who I am.
You stand on
Period.
what you
Like
say.
Okay, so
Kamina first.
Hold on, I have just something to say about that. Where she's coming from. First off, everybody has their opinion about the situation, but being in the situation is different from what you guys think. To have somebody sit here and smile on my face every day, make plans of we should do this, we should go here, we should blah blah, thinking everything's just so cool, and then you go on the podcast, the energy's so different. That's you don't have to defend me. I don't care. I don't care for the comments. I've been in the limelight. I've been viral for other things too. I get bad comments and good comments. I don't care. It's just that I don't like people in my face smiling, acting like they're my friends, acting like we're good, and then you go on something else. And then there's way more stuff even happening in that chat prior to that too. It's not just, whatever. I'm not even gonna get into that, but it's just seeing that kind of made me look at y'all different. And you're right. The fact that, I saw that, okay, so they switched up. They went on the podcast, said what they said. And after we've been making plans, doing whatever you want to say, that just tells me I'm not going to no longer talk to you. I left the chat and I saw what it was, and that's just what it is.
So hold on, guys. Hold on. I know this is a juicy topic. So what's one thing bad that they said about you guys when they were on the podcast?
Right.
One thing that I heard was how we embarrassed African American men, or as an African American men, we're putting you guys down.
And we went on camera and broke down black men.
And there's another one saying
is that what they said on the podcast?
Yes.
Or what viewers were saying?
That's what they said on the podcast.
Huh. The men on the show?
Yeah. I don't remember saying
We didn't say that.
Who said it?
I did not say that.
I'm sure we can find a clip.
Okay, let's hear from TJ. Go ahead, TJ.
All right, so I wasn't on the podcast, so I have no fight in this. All right? Me and Maul had matches, so it was for the unmatched people.
Correct.
So when I look back at the episode, they will tell you I left the group chat because I didn't watch it.
TJ, Mike.
They will tell you I left the group chat because I was like, why did y'all upset them? Was that true? Was that true? I remember I left the group chat. Like I was like, you guys upset them, I'm leaving. It was because they said that you guys were talking about them in a bad way. I went back and watched the episode. It was a couple statements in there that was probably offensive.
Okay.
But
do you remember such as
it was the white women comment.
What
in the podcast?
It was that's the only thing I remember. And it was the doubling back. That some of them doubled back.
I don't want to say anything about white women.
I feel like we just answered the questions that was brought to us. That's all.
It was those two comments that I heard. That was it. So it was they doubled back on some certain women. I mean, if you let me finish, I'll say it.
Okay. Go ahead, TJ.
So it was somebody said in the podcast that y'all was doubling back and that they didn't mean to pop their balloon.
Are you talking about the women's podcast?
Yeah.
They're talking about
No.
Okay.
That the men said that they was doubling. The women were doubling back on them, and that they were regretful for popping their balloon. Oh. And the women was like, "We ain't want y'all. Like we stood on business." And so they felt like y'all was lying about doubling back. And the second thing was somebody did mention this is a problem in the black community, and that with white women, that's where that's the second comment.
So there was a miss.
Okay.
That
Hold
was
on.
it.
I know.
That was it.
Okay.
Yes.
First of all, I don't know anything about this doubling back situation. I don't remember that at all. Said in the whole podcast.
I do remember that comment.
You do remember that?
Yeah. They just basically said like, oh, off the camera, it was different. They wish they would have not have paused.
But that's not doubling back.
That
that is the energy that we said. Okay, on camera, right? These women said yada yada yada. But when we met them off camera, They were very cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's what we meant by
that.
that. Okay. Second part of that with the white women. I don't know anybody said anything about white women. I mentioned the black community. What's wrong with the black community is that a lot of us look at materialistic things instead of things that really matter. And the other races, I don't know, I didn't say white women. I said the other races don't do that as much.
Is that because you are you? What is your what is your dating preference? Are you typically dabbling in that to
What does that have to do with my question? Or my
because
statement?
you're talking about the black community, so do you go and date?
So is this true though? What I said?
I think that's the point she's trying to get to is are
that
you
why
with other races? Are you a part of the other races? Like, for you to be able to say that, like, black people, we always talk about our race and what the issue is with our race because it is our race and we know that and we are constantly putting our business out there where other races aren't doing that. And if we're not involved in all these other races, then how do we know that that's a thing? How do we know that that's a fact?
Okay, so what I'm referring to is the music that we listen to, the way we speak about our women. Okay, that's what I'm referring to as when I say the black culture. Our culture is messed up. When you listen to rap, it's derogatory. It puts down women. It's talking about money, cars, yada yada. If you listen to any Spanish music, white music, or not white music, but country, whatever type of races, they don't talk about those things, right? And that is what's holding our community back. Is that this is what we glorify. Is the materialistic BS. And that's what I meant by that. It wasn't no attack on you guys. It wasn't no attack on a single individual. I was talking it as a whole race and culture. And that's it.
And like, but I don't know if I agree with that because like reggaeton, like that's Spanish music and they're definitely talking about that. There's some like, I mean, to me, African American and African culture is two kind of almost separate things. And you hear rappers in like, or just like Afrobeats music where they talk about that type of stuff. Maybe it's not as like derogatory towards women, but I don't really listen to too much Afrobeats. I just know that there is Afrobeat songs where they're talking about money and glorifying money. There's also rap in other countries like Russian rappers and like other European countries like French rappers where they're talking about money and glorifying that and potentially derogatory towards women. So I feel like it's more of a hip-hop thing, but hip-hop has pervaded other races and cultures. It's not just an African American thing. But I think they're about to get into another segment, hopefully. I have about like 15 minutes left in this video, so I'm gonna cut it off right here. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. There was a lot that was talked about in this episode. We got into a little bit of a dicey conversation towards the end. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know what else I should be reacting to. If you made it to the end of the video, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video and check out the playlist to see my other Pop the Balloon reaction videos. Without further ado, I'm going to get up out of here. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Hope y'all have a great day. Peace.
Oh, here, let's go, okay, let's go. Yeah. She wanna make me her wife, but I don't wanna be her wife, okay. Slide by in the motherfucking range, I do the dash in the vintage, yeah.